What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the Two Goat Show. We're your hosts, Mariah and Steph. Steph, what's up? Happy Two Goat Thursday. How you doing?
What up, Mariah? Doing great, doing great. 2-0, we feeling good. So just happy to be here.
Yep. 2-0. Man, I was a little worried this week, throughout the game. I'm like, whew, got a little close there for my liking, but defense came through, pulled it out. Man, defense is on fire. I think we're going to start actually talking about Robert Saleh, the connection to Fred Warner, and just how the defense is playing overall. Obviously, Fred Warner getting Defensive Player of the Week honors this week. And I guess I heard or saw somewhere that with that one, it put him over the amount of honors that Patrick Willis had earned for that same award. So now he leads that category. I have some quotes to read, about what Fred said about Saleh, vice versa. But before I get on to all to that, I kind of was thinking as I was preparing, and everybody always is talking even respect throughout fan bases, throughout players, throughout the league for Fred Warner, right? Like there's not a fan base that I don't talk to. Like they could hate us, hate all of our freaking players, and they'll still give Fred Warner the respect, right?
Oh yeah.
So this isn't just, a guy that the 49ers fans just love and we think he's the best. I don't think there's any question that Fred Warner is the best linebacker in the league and has been for multiple years now, right? Yeah. So before I get into all the specifics, what do you think would have to happen? What would Fred have to put together this season to actually get the respect and actually earn an award like Defensive Player of the Year as a linebacker?
Well, I think he has the respect, but I think as far as getting DPOI for a linebacker, I think we're past the days of linebacker being the premier defensive position. I think pass rusher for some time now has been that. And there's a lot of big names in that area who, are good every year. I think Fred's going to have to be consistent, throughout the year. Honestly, I felt like Fred was on that crazy trajectory to start last season too. If you remember the first few games, I was kind of having that same thought of this guy could be DPOI if he keeps this up. And then the ankle injury happened, right? And then it kind of went from there. But so if he could stay healthy, if he could stay consistent this year and just be Fred, I mean, he's gonna get it, because I think there's a lot in his game that's just a given, right? He's getting fumbles, he's gonna get that. If he gets some picks, which I'm sure he's gonna get some picks this year, if he racks up the stats like that, then it should come pretty easy for him to be in the discussion. But it also depends on what other guys around the league are doing. Is there going to be someone better than him? So that's why I say to even be in the conversation, one thing's for sure, you have to put up the stats, but you got to be consistent with it. So we know Fred could be consistent. So yeah, hopefully he could get it done.
Yeah, I think that would be so awesome. He deserves so much, and I just feel like maybe it's the position, like you said. But the work this guy puts in, even if you take in the whole body of it, the work that he puts in just to his body alone to stay healthy, the man never, that's why I call him fucking Iron Man Fred, because we are so blessed and lucky that we don't have to, especially with the injuries on this fucking team, if we're being honest, everybody's always freaking hurt. And yet Fred Warner just standing there strong through it all. And, Dee Winters was asked about that specifically, in the interview that he did with Matt about, things that he learned from Fred and whatnot. And he said, mentioned that, overall, how he takes care of his body, what he puts into his training, what he eats. So like this is like a year-round thing that like Fred like is so dedicated, like I swear, like the guy probably don't even drink a friggin' sip of alcohol. Like he probably is that dedicated, like a Nick Bosa, like doesn't put that into his body, like, and yet like where you have these other positions that are slamming beers, tight ends, and all this other stuff, like he's just like, and every person that you talk to, like they talk about that. Like he is just all strictly football, like he lives, breathes, everything is about training his body, getting ready, like his mind, everything. And it's just like, like it would be just awesome for him to actually get rewarded. Obviously, like the number one reward, let's not forget, is the Super Bowl. Like let's get him that, right? But like on an individual thing, like it would just be nice for the league to like, put the like how the whole quarterback thing like is always getting these awards, and like let it actually go to the player that deserves it, that actually wins it, like stop giving it, we have to give it to a defensive end because they get all the sacks. We got to give MVP to a quarterback because yada yada. Like give it to the person that fucking deserves the award. And I think Fred shows that season in and season out, that he's deserving of that. Let's look at John Lynch was asked about Fred and on KMBR, and he had said, I thought he played a darn near flawless game against the Saints, made plays throughout and made a huge play at the end covering the tight end. That was quintessential. I don't know how to say that word. Fred Warner game. He plays with so much heart, so much soul, so much brain power, and it's an awesome thing to watch. Saleh was just asked about Fred too, and about how like how much he's grown since Saleh was last here, and if he had to have a conversation with Fred, like, oh, how much can I put on your plate now, and yada yada. And Saleh said he's constantly all throughout the week calling Fred into the office, having side conversations with Fred, asking him what he likes about the defensive plan, what he doesn't like, what they need to add, what they need to take out. He said, he's grown so much since Saleh was last here. He said he's basically another coach out there on the field.
Oh, yeah.
And Bosa just basically said that same thing the other day, that was saying that Fred's like a coach, not only the best linebacker in the league, but he's another coach out there on the field. Like it's just, this guy like is amazing. And in turn, I want to, flip it back over to Saleh and, what he means to this defense, and obviously how we've seen the defense play through these last 2 weeks. Fred Warner was asked the difference between this year's DC and last year's DC. He says, Saleh's been around the block. He's been there and done it at a high level for a long time. He knows football through and through, not just defense, but offense. And I think that helps. He knows the exact calls to put us in certain situations within the game. It's almost like he's a fortune teller. The dude knows everything. It gives us so much confidence for a player to go out there and play free. I love having him back. Not only does all that say what that says about the last DC, right? But yeah, like some numbers, and then I turn it back over to you and get your thoughts on just, what you've seen from this defense and Saleh since he's been back. But John Chapman put this out yesterday, and it says 49ers defensive ranks through 2 weeks. First in fumbles, second in tackles for loss, 6 total yards, 6th in passing yards, 7th in points, turnovers, rushing touchdowns, and third down percents, 8th in yards / rush, 9th passing touchdowns, and 9th in first downs. Like, I swear if we would have looked at those numbers last season, even at this time through 2 weeks, that it would have been like the 20th, freaking 31st, 30th, 28th. Like I would have probably thrown up right here. Just night and day difference, Steph. Like so many games last year, like we were used to in these situations thinking, at least I know I am, right? Okay, I know the defense is going to pull us out of this and we're going to win this game. The defense has this. Never last year did I think that.
No. We were like,
oh
God,
we're going to lose.
Don't give it back to the defense.
Yeah, like, please put the offense back on the field. Let the offense save the day. Like, when's the last time we're begging for the offense to save the day, right? But the defense was just so bad, you didn't want to trust them. And we have superstars on this team. So it's nothing against the players, right? There's only so much they can do. If the defensive coordinator is putting them in a shit position and calling shit plays, like, what are they supposed to do? Just start calling their own plays out there? Fred's like, oh, scratch that. We're going to go.
I mean, he probably would have done a better job.
He probably would have, you know? But like you have these young guys even on the defense that are playing like freaking studs, you know, D Winters, just playing like a freaking superstar, like no drop off from freaking Dre Greenlaw whatsoever. And obviously, you know, Diamador Lenore is been a stud, but still playing great. Just talk to me, Steph. What have you seen from Robert Saleh in this defense through 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, it just looks so much different. I think the main concerns that we had about this defense from last season was the foundational things, the basics of playing defense, tackling, run defense. You know, like I think those were the biggest concerns, and obviously playing clean, like penalties and things like that. All of that has been answered, at least through these first 2 weeks of the season, that hey, like this is a team, this is a defense that knows what the hell they're doing. This is a defensive coordinator that knows what they're doing, that knows how to put his guys in the best position to be successful. And it's translating, you know, onto the field. And I think it's definitely even bigger because of how many young players are getting involved in the defense this early. And I don't think it's a coincidence that, you know, we're seeing already just from week 1 to week 2, the jump that we saw from Micah Williams, from Alfred Collins, like it was noticeable. It was noticeable to everyone. Upton Stout, you know, getting the sack, right? Like I think all of those things make me really excited about this team, and just knowing that the coaching is there to finally develop these guys the right way, and they're only going to get better, you know, as the season goes on. So there's a lot to be excited about. And also just Robert Saleh as a coach, how he's evolved as a play caller, you know, even from week 1 to week 2, just his game plan from one game to the next was completely different, was completely specific to the offense that he's going up against, right? We're seeing new wrinkles. So even in week 3, you know, you're facing a team that has a, you know, a mobile quarterback and Kyler Murray. Like, what wrinkles do we see then, right? Because it's a different offense than what they faced so far. So yeah, I'm just excited to see the mentality of this defense, because, you know, everything we said about Fred and how great he is, he's a great guy. And I almost feel like Fred has his own, he is an energy source for the defense, you know?
Yeah.
And people gravitate to him, and kind of like what D Winters is saying, you kind of just marvel at who he is, how much preparation he puts into it, right? So I think we saw that even at times last year, but even that could only go so far. Like Fred Warner's only one guy, you know? But now you're getting it from the top two. You're getting it from Robert Saleh. We know he's a big energy guy, right? So you're getting Robert Saleh's energy feeding into Fred Warner that gets fed into everyone else as well. So, like, I don't know. It's great to see just the way they play. You could tell this is a defense that plays for each other. You know, I think there were times last year where, like, it just didn't feel that way. It didn't feel like a team unit. It didn't feel like guys were playing for each other, like they were playing for their coach, you know. So we're seeing that this year, and I think that's been a very welcomed change, and it's only going to get better as the year goes on.
Yeah. You know, and when you say that, you know, unit that's like playing for each other and actually playing together, like it brings me back to this picture that I keep seeing, you know, like on Twitter and whatnot. And I think it was during the Saints game, and it's like one Saint, and literally there's like 5-6 49ers around him tackling him.
They're swarming,
and
yeah.
Like I felt like last season we didn't see that whatsoever. We'd see one guy there missing the tackle, the guy running away, you know, another guy flying in, trying to tackle, missing it, you know, and it was just like so many missed tackles and just sloppy ass play last season, all season long, from start to finish. It never got better.
It'd be like
Um,
5 guys near the player, but none of them were
yeah,
tackling. Like, it was the
yes.
strangest thing I'd ever seen. No, yeah, I noticed that too. Like, they're flying to the ball, they're helping each other out. I mean, yeah, you see that difference.
Yeah, and John Lynch was asked about Saleh's defense, and he even said, I love that style that we're playing with. We're playing our brand of football, which is running to the football and arriving with bad intentions. I think if you have that as a foundation, we have a lot of talent, and it's going to continue to ascend and get better. Exactly that. Like we had none of that last
Yeah.
season. Like, we had a coach that had no energy, and I felt like that's what trickled down into the players. Like it was just terrible. Chat, what's up? I see you all. Hope everybody's doing wonderful. We are going to have a D Winters autograph giveaway. Not at the very end of the show. I'm not telling you guys when. You have to be here to know. So
Keep them on their toes.
Yep. If I can get the glare off.
TCU.
D Winters, the stud muffin that he is. So make sure you guys stick around and get into there. You if you're watching on Facebook, on Twitter, whatever, you have to be on YouTube. It doesn't let you enter from those platforms, unfortunately. So you have to be over here. And when you're over here, make sure you're subscribed to both channels or you're not going to win shit. Okay? The end.
Tell them.
Yeah. Last thing, let's talk a little bit about D Winters because he did have that interview with Matt. And so he brought up a couple things. He had said, like Matt was asking him, the first things first is that D Winters said he hardly played any defense at all in high school. He said he went to a little ass high school. There was only like 17 kids that graduated in his class, he said. There was only 11 kids on their high school football team. So most positions played offense and defense. And he said, but except for him, he played mostly offense, hardly any defense at all. And he played wide receiver and running back. It wasn't until he went to college and his college coach said, hey, I want you to play defense. And he's like, I don't mind. I'll play wherever you want me to. But like, isn't that strange that you want me to play defense when you've only seen me play offense? And the coach, he said, like his coach was just bought into making, like he said, I can make you work as a linebacker. And he said that coach had, a record of switching kids from offense to defense and it working. And so he said, I just put my trust in him, felt, like he had my best intentions and went with it. And he's like, and obviously, here I am and it worked out.
That's crazy.
So like, as now it's making sense because Fred Warner had said, when D Winters was first drafted, he would look at him and just like, man, like, is this kid even going to make it? Like he would just do some crazy things and that he's grown so much. And it's like, well, he had only been playing the position for a couple years at that point, so like, yeah, it was good. Maybe he could have played sooner, but it was actually good for him to sit behind, Dre Greenlaw and obviously work his way through the injuries, get his practice time, learn the position better. And now we got a freaking stud there. D Winters also said being able to go against Shanahan's offense has helped him out tremendously. And that Saleh has made the game so much more simple. So he said it's so much easier for him to just get out there and play like we hear. So like so many of them say they're able to just get out there and play free and play fast. Right. And that's something I feel like we definitely weren't seeing last year either. Like, I don't know, like they were out there not playing free, not playing fast, maybe trying to think too much. I don't know what the hell. And he said also that because Matt asked him if the 49ers drafting a linebacker in the third round this season was motivation. And he said, hell yeah, that was motivation. He said he was already working, obviously, because he knew Dre was leaving. So he was already working himself, to take that starting role. He said, but when they seen him draft a linebacker that early, he's like, hell no. He's like, I'm working my ass off to take this position and I'm not planning on giving it away to anybody.
Well, that's the idea.
Yeah.
I feel like that was the 49ers somewhat intention because also like they didn't really know if they could depend on D Winters, right?
Yeah.
Just based on what he had shown so far, injuries that he'd faced. So they kind of just had to bring someone else in that early. But as a player, like that's how you have to respond, like, no, this is my spot. And he has not looked back. Like
No.
from day one of training camp, like it was crazy. There was really no question whether he was going to be the guy, because he just dominated from the beginning.
Yep, love it, love it. All right, let's get into this game against the Saints, Steph. Like I said, it was a nail biter, close one. There were some times that I, wasn't going to think the 49ers were going to pull it out. And, at least during this game, I'm like, let the defense save us. Let the defense save us. But still, like it was close there. Obviously, we got Bryce Huff coming in with that fast. Oh my God, we've been begging, Steph, year after year after year. Get us speed opposite Nick Bosa, please. Steph, right. We got our man. We have our man. Like, holy shit. Connor Colby coming in had a hell of a game. Michael, Alfred, like the rookies, just they're doing great. Talk to me, Steph. What did you see from this game? Oh, and before that, Steph's predictions her players of the game on offense and defense were CMC and Fred Warner.
I got Fred right.
Not too shabby, Steph.
I got Fred right. Those were kind of obvious, though, huh? Like, that seemed like very low-hanging fruit. Like, oh, yeah, CMC is going to have a good game, and Fred's going to have a good game. You can say it. That's like evergreen. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, I think the difference just as a whole for this team, right, is that we're seeing complementary football. We're seeing this team balance each other out very well. And what's crazy about it is they're not really consistent yet, So, like, you're seeing good things, and, you're seeing some plays on, like, defense. They give up some plays here and there. Bend, don't break, give up touchdowns here and there. But the important thing on both sides of the ball is that I feel like when they know they need to lock in and they need to make a play through these first 2 weeks, like they've come through and they've made those plays, and I think that's something that also wasn't something that we saw last year, right? We were begging them to to get it together, to, rise to the occasion. It just was not working out for them, or one side would do it and the other side would let the other side down, whichever side of the ball it was. This year, I feel like they're stepping up for teams. I mean, even special teams was better this week, right? Like, they got a kicker who actually makes field goals. Like, who would have thought that improved things? But yeah, I just feel like both sides of the ball are playing for each other. Kind of like we were saying on the defense. Like, it just feels like a team. It feels like cohesive. And so I think as a whole, like, you're seeing that this team could win gritty. They can make it happen, and that's just the things that we weren't seeing last year in close games and when they had to step up, right, and getting it done. So I've been very encouraged by that so far, and it's only week 2. You got to think at some point it's all going to come together where you see a complete game and it's consistent throughout the game. I think this game against Arizona, kind of like the game against Seattle, like, it's always going to be a battle because it's a divisional game. And so even if, like, they're not the toughest opponent, like, I think the toughest opponent that they're going to see pretty soon here is the Rams, right? So I still think that these games will tell us a lot, including this one on Sunday. As far as, like, Connor Colby coming in and stepping up and having a great game, as good of a game as he did. He didn't know he was going to play when he woke up that morning, but it's like to just go in there and finish the way he did, I think says a lot. Now you can look at it and be like, well, it was just the Saints, but I still think it told me a bit about his mindset. Like, he wasn't out there looking lost. He even, like, from the very first play, Miriah, like, he was, like, it looked like he belonged there. And I think that's important. It might not always look perfect, just like, maybe Pooney had some moments in his rookie year as well. But I could see Connor Colby being a Pooney-like addition to this offensive line. based on what we saw in week 2. If he keeps that up here in week 3, I'm feel a lot better about that, and he could potentially take that left guard spot and not look back. I would love for that to happen. I mean, 7th rounder, like
Yeah.
any 7th rounder who, you know, has the opportunity to play against, you know, a lot of guys who probably weren't 7th rounders, maybe just a few, because like 7th rounders who start or like have snaps, you know, like kind of hard to come by sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like usually they're depth guys or something. So for a guy like him, rookie no less, to come in and do what he did, like I said, I think it just says a lot. I feel very optimistic about that.
Yeah. What did you think about Mac Jones's performance? How do you think, he did overall?
You know, it started off really shaky, and I thought it was actually really funny in that very first drive. Like, Kyle wouldn't call any runs, like 3 straight passes. Like, come on now. But I
He
think
threw so much, period. Like, I'm
he
so
did.
surprised. Like, he threw 38 times or something, like high up in the 30s. Like, I was
Yeah.
very surprised with that.
I mean, he could sling it, you know, and he started off jittery, obviously. And, you know, it was funny how he said that Trent told him to, you know, just ball or whatever
Go
he
hoop.
told him. And I think he settled down a lot after that. And the more he threw it, I think the more he got comfortable. And, you know, he took some aggressive shots as well, where he's throwing into tight windows, making layered throws, or just, you know, getting the pass right over the defender.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't think the talent as a the talent as a quarterback and just throwing the football, like that was never in question, you know, with Mac. I think it was more so maybe just like the confidence, the supporting cast around them, not just the players, but like also the coaching has always been, I think, a bit of a disservice to him. But that's why we knew that this was going to be a really good place for him to kind of rehabilitate, you know, and get back to where he was, you know, in times in Alabama. But yeah, I thought he looked good. I thought he looked comfortable, confident. I think obviously he doesn't have the mobility. You know, that's the one aspect in this game compared to week 1, you know, with Brock that really stood out. But aside from that, like, you got everything else to make this offense go, and, you know, scoring 3 touchdowns and scoring as many points as they did to get over the Saints. I think, I mean, it was all good in my opinion.
Yeah, he had that one little run that he did, and I was like, holy shit, like I didn't think we'd even see him move that much.
Was like a 9-yard
don't hurt
gain.
yourself now.
Yeah, right? I was a little surprised by that one.
At first, like, I swear, you guys, I was having flashbacks to Jimmy G. Like, just the 10, then him just stand there holding the ball for fucking ever. And it was just like, oh my God, why are we back here again? But yeah, he did get better, you know, as the game went, but he still held the ball for entirely fucking too long. Like, he would be holding the ball for freaking 3, 4, 5 fucking seconds. Like, you can't have the O-line blocking forever.
Brock's time to throw in week 1 was longer than Mac's, but the reason it feels longer is because Mac's just a sitting duck in the pocket most of the time.
Brock's moving around, at least running around, trying to fight. Look, he's just fucking sitting there, and the O-line's having to fucking bust their asses, and it's just like, holy shit.
Which is why he had the fumble too. Like, yeah.
So, but I mean, other than that, like, yeah, he didn't do too bad. Yeah, throw it away. Like, and that was my thing that I hated with Jimmy too. Like, throw the fucking ball away. Like, why do you just stand there and hold it? Like, if you're not seeing something after 30 seconds,
down.
Like, God. And yeah, like, you have CMC there. Like, check the ball down whenever you freaking can. Just get the ball to CMC. Hopefully we're gonna get into it right now, but if we have to see him this game, hopefully, you know, he improves on those things. Like, I don't know if he's just like slower at processing, if he's just not comfortable with what he's seeing, if he's not comfortable with the offense yet, if it was his first game back in forever jitters, or
I
you know,
think it's
so
probably some of the same things that Brock was dealing with in week 1, that like sometimes like you're not finding anyone open. I mean, come on, this wide receiver group is kind of hodgepodge together. You got Ricky
mhm,
Pearsall and, pretty much Jawan Jennings, who, he probably, I didn't check Jawan Jennings' snap count, but I don't know if he had his full amount coming off his shoulder injury. But yeah, I mean, sometimes guys aren't completely open, but there were times where he was throwing guys with anticipation as
mhm,
well. So, like,
yeah.
I think he's comfortable, maybe a little too comfortable behind that offensive line, because he was like, "Dang, I ain't never had this long to throw the football. This nice.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, they
Little
got me.
50 Meg back here."
I'll just make some lunch real quick. Let's take a look at these injuries, and obviously Brock Purdy, being a main one who has now practiced in at least some limited fashion. What that consists of, who really knows? But he's out there practicing, so that's more than we saw from him last week, right? Um, Let me pull up yesterday's so then we can compare who practiced today and not. So yesterday, which was Wednesday's practice report, we had Yeter Gross Matos was what wouldn't practice. Juice is out with a concussion, so he's not practicing. Spencer Burford, knee, didn't practice. Siren Neal, concussion, didn't practice. Trent Williams, knee, vet day, didn't practice. Jawan Jennings, ankle, shoulder, didn't practice. CMC, calf, vet day, no practice. Bosa, vet day, no practice. And then Purdy was limited. And now today got a little bit better. So after not practicing yesterday, we had CMC, Bosa, Yeter, and then Juice and Siren Neal. They're back, but they're in blue, no contact jerseys, but they did return. So we'll see if they can. I don't know if they'll get through the concussion protocol fast enough or not. But at least they're out there doing something. Trent Williams, they said, per Nick Wagner, was in uniform and helmet, was in the weight room, and then doing work on the side in the early portion of practice. He said it looked like he would be doing some practicing, though. Jawan Jennings, not in uniform, but doing side work. And then no Spencer Burford out there. Steph, if it were up to you, you're now the GM of the 49ers, or Kyle, or whoever you want to be. Are you having a Mac start this week? Or are you starting Purdy? Where do you think we're at in this situation?
I think it really depends where Purdy's at, how he feels. It's very encouraging that he's been practicing these last 2 games, right? I think if there is any bit of hesitation on Purdy's part, about playing this game, then I think you are on the side of caution. But I don't know if Purdy's that kind of guy. Like I think Purdy's can tough it out if he does have any remaining pain that he's dealing with or whatever. I think he can gut it out. We've seen that from him before. So, I mean, I think if he's clear to play, you play him. That's your better quarterback.
I agree. I saw a lot of people saying, well, if he's just this, yada, 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 like be safe. Mac didn't play. But I mean, if he is in not pain, like, I agree. Leave it up to him. If you're in too much pain and you don't think that you're going to be effective because your foot or whatever the hell is going to be hindering your performance, then don't play.
But what I found interesting, I don't know if you saw this, Miriah, but like John Lynch, when he spoke to KBR this morning, he was like, we'll make an organizational decision on, and I was like, that's interesting wording, organizational decision. Like that almost makes it sound like we're going to be smart, with our franchise quarterback who we just paid a bunch of money to, kind of thing. Like we're going to look at it that way rather than, automatically saying he's healthy. Let's just play him. So I don't know. Maybe they definitely have the luxury to be cautious, right? Because I think Mac did a well enough job. But at the same time, I don't know if you can leave anything really to chance. You're 2-0. This is a divisional game. And again, if Purdy feels like he can go, you you roll that dice.
Yeah. Before we get into the rest of the game, Dion has a question here for you. He says, Steph, I need some info with the receivers coming back. Who do you think we cut? We'll have Robinson in 2 weeks and BA in a few more weeks. Who do you think they cut to open up roster spots? And before you answer that, we have seen there have been a lot of videos coming out with BA running, doing some cut work, stopping, getting those knees working and whatnot. So good to see. Hopefully we'll get him back soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of guys that, like, Marquez Valdes-Scantling is doing cardio out there. Like, he's not doing anything. Has he even gotten the target? I don't know, to be honest with you. So he'd be my first choice for whoever comes back first.
Robinson, probably, yeah.
Robinson. I think that'd be the easy choice to make. And then so Sky Moore is interesting because, like, he's not really contributing anything but besides, like, the returning, which who else would do that? I guess, like, that would be my thing. He'd be easy to let go and just have on the practice squad, but you would have to figure out who would then take on those duties. So, and if everyone talking about Brandon Ayuk being back, week 6, I don't know if I see that, to be quite honest with you. I'm not a doctor, but I still think he has some ways to go, in week 6, we're talking about a month away, less than a month away, and based on the videos I've seen, that doesn't look like a guy who's ready to play football yet. I think they're gonna, once they start his practicing, you start to see what he looks like full speed and all that, and I think it'll be a while. Based on the videos I've seen, I know people are excited about what they've seen. It's obviously a good sign. He's trending in the right direction. I just don't think it's going to be week 6. So
he's so funny, I swear. So I don't think Purdy is going to play this weekend, but if he does, I don't want to hear injury excuses if he plays like shit.
I mean,
if you're out there, you're out there. Otherwise, put Mac in. And I agree. Shit.
Yeah. Because, like, what was it? Like, he had a shoulder injury, like, last year, right? And, I think there was a game he didn't play well, very, very well with that. But, to be fair, last year it all was forgettable for the most part. So, I don't know if we could attribute it completely to the injury, but
yeah.
I think if anything, for this particular injury being toe, like, maybe you just see a little less moving around, a little less scrambling maybe from him. But if he does play and you see him scrambling, it's because he feels great. Like, he's fine.
Have they told us what foot this is even on yet? Like, is it plant foot? Is it?
I think it might be.
Because, looking, he does look a little strange when he's throwing in those videos they've been releasing the last couple of days.
Yeah, but... right foot. Because, like, there's a paused, like, video. Like, I've seen pictures of, like, the toe and on the play that it happened. I just couldn't remember which one it was. Right foot. Yeah, so the foot you plan on, kind of important. And that's what you don't. So it could impact his play if he's not feeling comfortable completely planting on that foot. And that's what you don't want with Purdy, because any bit, like, he doesn't have the arm to compensate for not having like his foot fully planted. So it could be an interception riddled day if, these are all hypotheticals, if, like, he's not comfortable doing that. But he's been practicing the last 2 days, throwing, planting, I would imagine he's comfortable.
Yeah, it's like the injury is still, like, very. Kyle's like, well, you could call it turf toe if you want to, but I'm no doctor. And it's like, on the other hand, we got Joe Burrow out with turf toe and he got to have surgery, you know? So
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
who the fuck knows? Like, what? It's so, this team is so weird, you know, like with the injury news. So, like, we're always just having to put together our own shit here. But I just hope that he doesn't say he's okay if he's not 100% okay to come back. Like, don't be getting in your own head and you see somebody else in there playing quarterback for your team and winning games. So now you want to rush back and we got a disaster on our hands.
Yeah. I mean, he's missed games before, so I don't think he would do that, you know.
It's on the side of his toe. Does he got like a bunion or does he got
I don't know shit about toes.
Ingrown toenail or what's going on here?
I don't care for toes.
All right, let's look to this Arizona game. First game at home. Both teams, Arizona did win, right? They're 2-0 as well.
Yes.
That little munchkin is back. Like, Steph, I just crack.
The Labubu of the NFC West.
Yeah, I cannot watch his like walk-in tunnel walk, whatever, when he's getting to the freaking games. Like, he just looks like a little freaking munchkin. Like, he's supposed to be on the Wizard of Oz. It's just like so weird. Like, I look at him and I'm just like, I can't believe this is a football player. Like, it just, like, if you were to see him out in the streets, you would never think that guy plays football. Like, I'm sorry. And it's just like, and then we get into the game and he just runs all over us, and it's just like,
where did this come from?
Like, this kid shouldn't be playing football and you guys can't stop him. So we got to deal with his ass, but we got Saleh back. The defense, can we actually stop a running quarterback? Because I can say we got Saleh back, but even when Saleh was here last time, that was our biggest thing. We still couldn't stop running quarterbacks. Do we have the defense? Do we have the scheme now? Do we have the plan to be able to stop Kyler Murray? Put the mouse traps down and get his ass.
Not the mouse traps.
Before I turn it over to you, let's get these comments from Calais Campbell and Jonathan Gannon on Facing the 49ers here real quick. So Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon on what it's like preparing for Kyle Shanahan's offense. He says, hard, difficult. There's a reason he is who he is. He's brilliant. I think he adapts really well during a game and what he sees going on, how defenses are trying to negate some of the things that he likes to do. And he has multiple compliments that if you're going to live like that, then he's going to stress you out a little bit. He's fantastic. It's hard. It's very hard. And then Calais Campbell was asked, with Brock Purdy practicing, which quarterback, if he had a preference, would he rather face? He says, do you want a truthful answer? The truthful answer is I'd much rather play against Mac Jones. It's not a shot because Mac is a first-round talent. He just hasn't been in that offense a long time. With Brock, he's a master of that offense. He can make it go. Thoughts on this game, Steph?
I like the answer. When he said he wanted a truthful answer, I thought he was going to throw a shot at Brock and be like, I'd rather play against Brock.
They're both the same. I don't give a shit.
But no, I mean, that's for a divisional opponent to have respect for your quarterback like Brock, I think says a lot. People still think Brock is just any other guy and anyone can do what Brock has done in this offense, but there's a certain element, and it's not always a tangible element. It's obviously not like the traditional things. Like, he's not a build a quarterback type of guy, like build a perfect quarterback kind of guy. He doesn't have the physical traits you would choose in a quarterback. But he has like the mental makeup that I think makes all the difference. Yeah. And that's a thing people often overlook with Brock, the processing. So yeah, I think he's absolutely right about that. That'd be the one they would want to face least. And then also, like, you got the sneaky sneaky legs that he's got. He could move if he wants to. So, and sometimes, well, I guess they, in their own way, they're both kind of prone to making mistakes, right? But I feel like Mac is a little, and maybe it's different in this offense now, but in the past, like, he kind of reverts to when a quarterback has struggled as long as they have in different offenses, and they're just not really comfortable in any set place. I feel like it's easy for them to revert to bad habits if they're faced with a lot of the things. Usually it's pressure, right? Like if they're faced with like the same things that they did in their rookie season, or like, they're the first team they were on, like, sometimes they could revert to bad habits. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think I like the fact that the Cardinals have to prepare for both quarterbacks, and yes, maybe they do some things the same, but I think there's some things they do differently that you'd have to account for. So yeah, from the preparation standpoint, I think this game bodes nicely for the 49ers, which is probably why they're milking it. And, they're, even if they know he's probably not going to play, like, and I'm just saying hypothetically, like, they're going to pretend like he is, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Brock even spoke with the media today, right? That usually is a tell that he would play. And then maybe Sunday we find out he's not. Like, I don't know. But, these Jedi mind tricks,
backup, maybe.
Gamemanship, is a thing in the NFL. So, but yeah, I mean, I like the fact too, and we didn't talk about this, Miriah, but like the Cardinals have a couple of their corners that are hurt. One of them went on IR. One of them seemed like they might be able to play. Then you got Will Johnson, who they said, is probably not going to practice this week. So, I mean, it could be a good game for whatever quarterback is playing out there. And I'm looking at Ricky Pearsall too to, possibly have a good game in this one. That was another thing too that I was encouraged by, just Mac already having a connection with Pearsall too, just like we saw with Purdy. He felt comfortable. It looked like he was comfortable throwing to him. So yeah, I think whatever quarterback it plays, I feel good about it. Now on Kyler, I think, yes, you're right that when Robert Saleh, like a few years back, the 49ers struggled heavily against mobile quarterbacks. And I think a lot of teams did around that time because it was still all kind of new, right? I think now they've gotten better at it. Like even last year, I think they were a little better at it, and like the last couple years. And so, and I think across the league, for the most part, there's still guys who are like cheat codes, like Lamar Jackson and whatnot.
Yeah.
And every now and again, you're gonna give up a big run, But I think for the most part, I feel fine about what Robert Saleh could game plan for this one. Again, like, do we see a different wrinkle from him in this game to kind of combat the mobility of Kyler, right? What I do like in this game, Miriah, what we were talking about earlier, the fact that they swarm, it's a team effort. You need that. You need that for a guy like Kyler going up against him. And, I think they're gonna need all those guys. I think who's gonna be big in this one is D Winters. Because to me, D Winters and Fred, like, I mean, they're sideline to sideline, super heat seeking missiles, so I think they're gonna be big in trying to, limit the impact of Kyler running.
Yeah. I do feel a lot better going into this game than I have going against, Kyler in the past, because like I said, we finally have that speed opposite Bosa. So we have Huff. Michael, Alfred, both coming along. So, even oh my God, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Kalia Davis, like,
oh yeah,
been huge. Like,
he's looked great.
like he's like we all knew like who he was, but he couldn't just put enough games together and stay healthy long enough, so like to have him back and healthy, like he's been a stud in there. So like we have all these guys along the defensive line now that might be able to contain Kyler a little bit better. And like you said, if he does squirt out like he fucking does, like, okay, D Winters, Fred Warner, we're looking at you, buddy.
Unleash him.
Yeah, like, come on. And like, D Winters had that play last week where he got the penalty, his first penalty in 50 something games or whatever they freaking said. And it was one of those, a late hit on the sideline. And, him and Fred both talked about, like, with those running quarterbacks, when you're playing at that speed, you never know. Like, are they going to, tight walk the freaking sideline? Are they going to go out of balance? Are they going to try to lower their shoulder, dip back in? Like, you don't know, like, how to play it. So I hope that has no effect on the way D Winters play is going forward. Like, please don't play scared now because you're scared of getting that fucking late hit penalty. Because he talked about like that's the biggest thing that he don't want to be the person that disappoints his team and is costing his team yards and shit. Like he specifically said that, so just please keep playing with your speed. Like, fuck those refs, like, we need you. We need all the speed you got this game against this little freaking raccoon squirrel rat out there. Steph, who are your two players, offense, defense of the game? And give me that score prediction. We're both sitting 2-0 as well in score predictions.
Okay, I'm gonna go with on offense, Ricky Pearsall.
Okay.
I think it sets up nicely for him, just with the cornerback situation for the Cardinals. And yeah, I think he has to be a favorite target. So
like it.
On defense, I'm gonna go with Michael Williams.
Okay.
Because he was that's one thing like we didn't really talk about, but like the way that he set the edge against the Saints, huge. That can go a long way going up against this Cardinals offense too. Because like, yeah, Kyler obviously, but also James Conner, who has had massive games against the Niners as well. And let's not forget Trey Benson, who is getting worked in too. So stopping the run, setting the edge, guys like Michael Williams, I think will be huge.
Yeah, that's the number one thing against them. Stop the run. Whether it's Kyler, whether it's the running backs, stop the run. Force them to throw. And I think we got this game because I have all the confidence in the world in our back end. Like, Kyler has trouble seeing over the line to freaking throw. Like, he's constantly just throwing the ball up, praying his receivers freaking catch the ball. Well, guess what? Now we have the defense that can come down with those balls. So please send them up. Because I would love to bet some money and put, our cornerbacks getting an INT against this little rat this week. Steph, score prediction. I got mine already. I'm going 31.
You called in the show. You've called Kyler like every rodent there is. Like
every little thing. 31-17 49ers. Chat,
wow,
what you got?
31. Okay. I hadn't thought of a score prediction yet.
Fuck them, Steph.
I hadn't thought of a score prediction yet. But like, you know what? Put in how many points they put up last week? 26, like, and that was with Mac. I'm gonna go 27-22 Niners.
27.
That feels right.
That's a weird score stuff.
I like to mix it up sometimes because sometimes you get weird scores. 27-22. I don't know how they got there. Don't ask me, but that's it.
All right. If you want to enter the D Winters autograph, let me turn it around the right way. Nope, it was the right way to begin with. Autograph card, D Winters auto, hashtag D in the chat, either stream, hashtag D to enter. Give you guys 2 minutes. Get your asses in there. And put your score predictions as well. We got Rob D, 31-7. Did you copy me? Did you fucking copy me, Rob?
You said 31-17?
Rob?
You just said 31.
Yes, I did. Fucking copycat.
And then Rob said 30-17. Pinheiro misses a PAT.
Oh man, I couldn't believe when he missed that. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me!
Right?
Like, no
I mean,
way. We just
like
got our
not
kicker
now.
to get one just to miss kicks. Like, and then he did okay after that. It's like maybe it was just first kick jitters. I don't know. Don has, let's see, let me scroll up here. 35-18 Niners.
Ooh, 35.
24-17 from Invader. 28-17 Alberto. Hashtag D, get in the giveaway.
Let's go. Get them in.
Hashtag D.
While you're at it, like the video.
That's right. Make sure you're liked or subscribed or you're not winning. Steph, what else you got going on?
Nothing else today. Tomorrow, got my preview show with KP and gonna be getting injury talks in with Coach Desi as well. Had my show earlier today with Wayne. That was a fun one. If you guys want to check it out, we talked about Fred Warner earlier in that one too. Actually, I was almost gonna mention it in this show when we were talking about Fred. I told Wayne, I was like, I feel like the game moves so slow for Fred now. Like it's like that scene in Zootopia when the sloth is at like the DMV employee. You remember that scene?
Mm-hmm.
That's how slow the game moves for Fred. Because you hear him talking about like recounting things that happened in the game, and he was talking about, I'm this close to like a fumble or like picking something off, like this close, and then it happened, and he was like kind of talking about it. I'm just like, Fred, like, how did you even see that? Like, you're moving at 100 miles an hour, and you know you're catching little details. That's how I know the game's moving slow.
Yep, true. All right. I thought I saw. Oh, yeah. We got some more score predictions. Here we go. So Nathan says 30 plus to 17. See, he wanted a copy, but
A lot
he
of
knew
people
better.
saying 17 for the Cardinals.
Dion says 30-14. So the 49ers, don't let us down. Put us some points.
Let's go.
All right. Hashtag D, last call. We're about to draw. Last call. Good luck. Here we go.
Why is your name there, Miriah?
Because I put in the comment saying to
okay.
put that. So, Bebop Baroni. Congrats, Bebop.
Bebop Jones.
I know Bebop subbed up.
Let's go. Is he still here?
So I don't even got to check. Yeah. Congrats, everybody. Say congrats to the winner. We'll definitely. Oh, we got another score prediction: 34-24. So we got to. If Purdy plays 20, what foot? You better knock this shit off.
He said Mac plays 30-14. Wow. That's
if
crazy.
Purdy plays 20-10 freaking cards, you're crazy.
That was rage bait.
Yeah. Foot is a crazy one. Yes, congrats, Bebop. We'll definitely be having more giveaways. I have a lot of D Winters autos as well, so we'll have more throughout the season. So make sure you guys are locked in with the Two Goats. We're here every Thursday, 3 Pacific time, every week. So come through. Any other day of the week, make sure you're tuned in to Steph 49K checking out everything she got. All right, because that's where you got to go. And yeah, till next week, we're out of here. Chat, you guys are awesome. We appreciate you all. Everybody have a safe, wonderful rest of your week. And let's get this dub Sunday, chat. 3-0. Next
Ooh.
time we see y'all. 3-0, baby. Let's go.